another day on the island of Guam, and we're actually now on the US Naval Base to explore some of the World War II sites. Some of the most interesting things to me are here on the naval base. But yeah, so we're gonna kind of walk / run. I'll be running. You don't have to run with me if you don't want. To different sites around the base, and yeah, we'll kind of see what we see. They did a good job preserving a lot of things here. Okay, here we're at Sumay Cemetery. This was actually a cemetery for the nearby village, which no longer exists, but at one point it says it contained 157 grave markers from all the way back from 1910. And what's kind of fascinating and also sad is that the cemetery is actually damaged by bombs when American warplanes were bombing the island in the weeks leading up to the invasion in 1944. So many of these grave markers were destroyed, and the actual official cemetery records have also been lost. So we're not sure how many people are laid to rest here, but you can still see a lot of the original tombstones from early and mid 1900s here. So we'll go walk around a little bit and pay our respects. Next, we head over to see a series of Japanese cave fortifications, which were built directly into the cliffside. So throughout Naval Base Guam, there are a series of interpretive signs and historic signs here describing some of the history of the area. And this is the one for the Japanese defensive cave fortifications. Behind me, you can kind of see a series of openings here in the rock face. And this was actually a series of defensive cave fortifications that the Japanese military had built by forced Chamorro and Korean labor. There are at least 4 cave complexes built here. They were fortified with 75mm guns and other small caliber weapons to defend the Sumay shoreline. Here in 1944, during the Battle of Orote Peninsula, hundreds of Japanese soldiers sought refuge from the attacking US Marines. Fierce hand-to-hand combat took place right here in and around these caves. Nearby is the former site of Sumay Village, which stood here during the Japanese occupation of Guam and during the battle. Over here you have the site where Sumay Village once stood here on Orote Peninsula, which is now of course on the naval base, but you can kind of see the village here, the footprint of the village is not far from where the Sumay Village Cemetery is that we just looked at. And you know, if this is the side of the village, we'll just pan over this way. This is that rocky cliff face which the Japanese fortified, and you can still see a lot of the cave entrances built right into the rock there. There are still remnants of the Japanese occupation of Guam located around the island. As I continued exploring the naval base, I came upon one of the more sobering sights. So I'm standing here and walking down what are known as the Japanese POW steps. Now these stone steps, which amazingly remain today here on Naval Station Guam, were actually built by POWs captured by the Japanese. So during the occupation of Guam by the Japanese from December 1941 until about July, August of 1944, when the United States invaded, they had POWs, whether those were Koreans, Chamorros, and a lot of individuals, build things all around the island, like cave systems, tunnels, as we mentioned. And one of them is this incredible staircase, which thankfully has been preserved, kind of as a symbol of the Japanese occupation and remembrance of all those who were forced to conduct labor and forced as prisoners of war. Nearby is a very unique monument dedicated to combat dogs. While on Guam, the Marines used a team of 60 combat dogs, known affectionately as Devil Dogs. Primarily Doberman Pinschers and German Shepherds, these dogs were trained to search enemy caves, sniff out minefields, and guard perimeters at night. More than 20 U.S. combat dogs were killed in action on Guam and buried with great respect on the island. On nearby Gab Gab Beach are 2 Japanese pillboxes. These were constructed to defend Apra Harbor. Other Japanese fortifications in the area were destroyed when Seabees converted the area to a recreational beach in 1945. The last site I visited on Naval Base Guam was located deep in the jungles of Orote Peninsula. All right, so I've been walking down this kind of strange trail here on the naval base by the old airfield, and I'm kind of in search of something I've been looking forward to seeing for a long time. So the remains of a Marine Corsair that crashed in these jungles long ago still exists. And here's the sign for it. And well, let's just say I'm about to head down the trail and go find it. All right, so I'm still walking down the trail to go find this Corsair. and I feel like I'm in Jurassic Park. There are vines, it's very uneven, it's very dense. It's also very quiet, which is a little weird. But making my way down this very sketchy trail. All right, this hike was completely worth it. There she is. All right, here I'm standing next to the plane, not on it. And you can see inside the wing there, but also we'll kind of come up here. You see a little bit back here as well, kind of what's going on. It's pretty amazing. Wow. All the old hoses and cables still in place here. You can really make out the distinct curvature in the wings, classic to the Corsair. And you got part of the main fuselage still here, part of the cockpit. But yeah, this thing has just been taken over by nature. But to think that it's been sitting here for almost 80 years. And honestly, I don't know how many people come back here and how often, but it looks like nobody's been back here for quite some time. I may be wrong, but that walk-in was really quite treacherous. That was awesome. That was really cool. Highly recommend wearing long pants, putting on bug spray. I kind of just did the whole sunscreen thing, and of course it's nice and cloudy and a little rainy, but tons of bugs and other things that get you itchy. So worth the hike, wear long pants.